Anti-Afro Svengalis. Check this out. Community wall, 100% visibility. This is the only challenge that matters. Extend it to channel content, whether it's visible or not. The only challenge that matters is whether or not these rogue public servants, whether they've been fired, whether they're looking for a job, whether they're currently employed, how willing are they to show that content to colleagues, to their employers, to human resources? We know good and damn well the answer is no way in hell. We, on the other hand, will show any of our content. Videos, videos, deleted content. They will not present that information. They will not repost it. Repost all the content. Leave the pages up. Quit hiding. Do that challenge. They will never do that challenge because they know they have something to hide. But the main reason for this video is to talk about cyberbullying. Cyberbullying. You need to do something about it other than cry and whine and wail, bellyache about it. Do something about it. So when you come online, whether you haven't taken any drugs or alcohol, whether you are not taking drugs or alcohol according to psychiatrist instructions, recommendations, or as per your agreement, whether you are taking illicit drugs, whether you are taking medication prescribed by a psychiatrist in quantities that are over and above medical recommendation or psychiatric recommendation, whether you are mixing combinations of substances and alcohol, whether you're using designer drugs, whether you're using fentanyl, whether you're using cocaine, any kind of stimulants, whether you're mixing stimulants and depressants, whether you are mixing alcohol with God knows what and you don't even know what you got. Anything that causes you to go off the rails. And let me repeat, not taking medication as prescribed and you have conditions that need to be managed is part of the equation. You come online, you're grouping this all together, and you act in a manner that is considered reckless abandon, and you run your mouth, and you say things that you regret. And let's make sure we're all clear on this point. We're not a toxicologist, and if we were, we're not running lab tests on people. We're not submitting people's blood and urine for sampling. So we are not required, we are not held to anything. We get to comment on whatever we hear and see on YouTube. If you don't want people commenting on what you say, get your ass off YouTube. If you bring your ass on YouTube and you say something, damn it, we're going to comment on it. Now, get the logic going with this. These idiots will sit here and make shit up about people just so they can have something to comment on, but turn around and tell us that we can't speak on what actually came out of their mouth. Again, trying to treat us like we're on some slave plantation. We are not on a slave plantation. I'm going to open up my mouth. I'm going to talk about whatever the hell I want. So you have somebody coming on here who freely spoke about having psychiatric issues, told the world. Nobody forced Carrie to come on here and tell the entire world that her job held her out. Held her out. And when I say held her out, they obviously were the moving party. The psychiatrist would not be the moving party. She told the story that the psychiatrist said she was going to hold her out as far as saying she wasn't fit to return to work. This was, 3 years ago? This was not recent as far as the story she told. I played it. Let me put the video clip down at the bottom and I'll give you the timestamp. This was 3 years ago when she came on doing all this other madness and said that her job knew she had mental health issues. They were doing all these things, bending over backwards, and she didn't want to cause them problems, but she ended up causing some problems anyway. She came on and said that. After she said all this, and we know it was gamey that she said it, because prior to that was when she came on YouTube and was making these race attacking comments about brothers. And we know it came from that old mean granny of hers, who obviously has issues with black men. And Carrie continues to reference all of the nasty, disgusting, abusive, vile, rancid criticisms of black men, constantly referencing that mean old nasty granny she has, right on down to the celibacy claims. And just imagine whether that granny is the mother of her father or the mother of her mother. She didn't like Carrie Ann's dad. Had horrible things to say about him. You could imagine, ain't no good, man, Negro ain't no good. You could just hear it because Carrie Ann repeats the same damn thing down to calling her own dad a dog. And this is what she brings to YouTube. I don't care who you are. You cannot escape it. You are going to bring your life to YouTube. We don't have to live with people. This came out of Carrie Ann's mouth. And she loves to run around with the dregs. Listen to this, people. Do you notice that? She loves to run with the dregs. And I'll tell you why. She likes to have immediate access to the dregs so she can strike. She likes to keep close to them so she can strike out at them. That's where she's most comfortable. She is not comfortable being in close proximity with people who have substance about them, who are intelligent, who are self-respecting. She can't tolerate being in the presence of any such people who are decent, who are upstanding, who are respectable. She needs to be with the underbelly and the dregs. So leave her there. That's why she was running back to that sex abuse cult disciple of Malachi York and gave him $500, or gave him more than that. That's where she wants to be. That's where she's most comfortable, because that's who she was taught to vilify. But she's not any better because that's where she comes from. How are you better from where you came from? The answer to that question, you can be better from where you came from, but you have to be better from where you came from. And that takes an effort, that takes movement, that takes determination. You can't stay where you are and be better from where you came from. She continues to engage in the same behavior from where she came from. What she really loves most and has never been successful at, this is feeling her frustration even more, is that she sees others who she perceives to be in a position that she wants to be in. She wants all of these accolades and praise and attention, so she targets certain people. Then she runs back to the underbelly environment that she's in and wants pats on the head. Cannot be satisfied. It's impossible to placate someone like Carrie Ann. This is why her frustration continues to grow more and more and more. She can't seem to figure out, how come I am not elevated over and above all the people that I'm targeting who have this profile that I feel I should be in? I mean, she was screaming and crying about this ridiculous, this is so dumb, threw her career away. Threw a career away thinking about some queen for a YouTube sector. A queen for a YouTube sector. And as serious as a heart attack. This is some shit you could never make up. But this is what Carrie Ann is doing, and serious about it. Dead ass serious about it, and upset about it. Hysterical about it. Wallowing in the dregs. Wallowing among the underbelly. What she was raised in and what she embodies. She's right there. Doesn't even have a GED. And she's up here bragging about education. That's just a cover. How did she do there? Horrible. She didn't even get above a bachelor's degree on the pay scale and claims to have a master's degree. Oh my God. The dregs and the underbellies and the nerve of these freaks to think they can set upon us and we're going to sit here and take that shit. I'm not taking anything from any of them. I'm going to keep talking. I'm going to keep following my complaints. So she made all these disclosures, made all these comments, and starts characterizing other people with these pejoratives related to mental health conditions. Like she uses crazy and psycho. She made the disclosures. And so in order to try to shut people up, she starts to lie and say, Reb G and AAS are making fun of me. That is not going to stop me from speaking the truth, trying to shut us up by lying on us. If you want to talk about the word, quote, making fun, unquote, it would be Carrie Ann using the pejoratives about others, calling them crazy and psycho. See, this is why she gets mad, because she cannot say the same thing about us. She doesn't have any audio. She doesn't have any live streams of us using these terms. We are simply repeating what she said. These are the terms that she uses to describe other people. Now, there were things that she did say about, she says I'm on drugs. She says I'm not taking my medication. That Carrie Ann did say she was taking drugs. Carrie Ann said she smokes weed. She has a pound of weed. That's not slander. It most certainly isn't cyberbullying. I will categorize it as wishful thinking. It'll be a cold day in hell before I shut up and listen to this windbag who makes a conscious decision not to exercise self-control and act like a mature adult, getting fired from a school district behind YouTube. And this idiot is not the first. Trust and believe that. We've seen it all over social media. It is so important to be on YouTube running around with dregs and underbelly, throwing a career away. Behind what? YouTube. That is her choice. I will not shut up as long as Carrie Ann runs around here leveling false allegation, race attacking, and using the EEOC protected group to target people unprovoked. I will continue to make sure everything she says and does is captured. And those who need to know what she's doing on YouTube will be duly informed. That's how it's going to be. And there's nothing Carrie Ann can do about it. It is not illegal. It is not cyberbullying. It's not violating any code of conduct. The only fools violating code of conduct are these rogue public servants who seem to think they have a permanent right to get on YouTube or social media and say whatever the hell they want, and for some strange reason think some flimsy ass credential that the state issued with conditions protects them. Your credential doesn't protect you. Against what? Common sense is supposed to protect you. But I want to reiterate, it's essential that anyone, I want to reemphasize and continue to emphasize, anybody who believes that it is cyberbullying, get your Catherine Brown on and file them papers in a court of law. And we will respond accordingly. We will gladly respond to a lawsuit. We're not going to run around and hide and lie and say we're not who we really are, like the egg donor does. We're going to respond to a lawsuit. What we're not going to respond to are fools running around these YouTube streets like Carrie Ann trying to tell us we don't have constitutional rights. We don't live on a slave plantation. We can respond to any and everything, or we can choose to ignore it. And if you really stop and think for even 5 seconds, the vast majority of things that comes out of this idiot's mouth, we totally ignore, at least when it comes to YouTube. But we're documenting what she's doing. It's all going to come back to bite her in the ass. And I never thought I would sit here and thank these fools in the Umar Johnson sector, these demons, these louse who sit up here and make it easy for us by setting her ass up, and she falls right into the trap. All this content they're putting on their channels for Carrie Ann to take yet another fall. And we'll be there to help facilitate the process. Folks, you know I have more coming your way. In the meantime, you know the drill. Buyer beware.